Checking back in with Orlando Furioso, Canto 29. This is 20 to 39, the stanzas where, yes, he has thrown the monk or priest who was with Isabella escorting the corpse of Zerbin into the waters because that's the kind of dude and how he rolls. And then he's like, yeah, you're going to be mine. And she's like, no, I don't want to be yours. But she's like, nope, you're going to be mine. And she goes like, well, look, I don't want you to be mine. Here's something I can give you instead, a special potion which will make you invulnerable to swords and you'll be the most powerful warrior there is. And for some reason, even though he's seeming supposedly deeply madly in love, he agrees to this. And so she devises this thing and also gets him drunk. He being a Sarsen, he's not really used to wine. I guess we'll see. But for the purpose of the story, he's not used for wine. He's getting pretty blasted out of his head. She comes up with the concoction and then says, well, now the thing with this is you might think I'm being fake. So what I'm going to do is I'll cover myself in it. And then you can test it out. You can swing your sword at my neck and see if it works. See, that's me being honest. And so she does that and he's drunk. So what does he do? He cuts her fucking head off. And she's like, sweet release. Her word as her head's flying is, Zerbin or whatever. Basically, I'm coming to see you. And indeed, the narrator says what a great woman this is, that she's basically the paragon of women. This is going to ring through the ages. She's going to be, it's like, whoever in the future bears thy name, this is the god saying, wise, beautiful, and courteous shall be, and virtue cherish as her constant aim, renowned in rhyme, honored in history, it will be chronicled, and with its fame, Parnassus, Pindus, Helicon will ring, Isabella, Isabella, echoing. That's stanza 29. But yes, depart in peace to the supernal throne of all your sex, the perfect paragon. I want to make it rhyme. Paragon, throne, paragon, thrawn, supernatural thrawn of all your sex, the perfect paragon. Barbara Reynolds does what she can with rhymes or near rhymes to get it. But, and he's like, oh God, he in his dunder, the thing is like, he is completely, yeah, the pagan brute was left to stand and stare, more cruel than Brutus had ever been, than rage and shame his befuddled mind possess. Blaming the wine, he curses his excess. I was like, I was drunk. That was why I did such a stupid thing. But what he does, he says, like, to placate or partly satisfy the soul of Isabella, he's going to make this into one giant sepulchre for the couple, because we got Zerbin's body there. And so he makes the church that this has all been done in convert it into a sepulchre. And he gets stonemasons and 6,000 men at least. Some answer willingly, others in fear, because he is a big fucking super gigantic brute of death and destruction. And they make this, they're going to ring it in giant blocks. And at the same time, he's building this bridge. He gives orders of a bridge which is sufficient in length the foaming stream shall span. And I guess it's the main route, because he's basically cut off all exit one where the thing. At a high price the river could be crossed. The tomb was not, and so they're still working on the tomb, but there's a watchman up there who will sound the horn whenever someone night approaches, and then Rodomonte is going to go out there and kill them all or battle them. And basically it's like he's gonna battle everybody, strip them of their weapons, and there'll be more tokens of his sin. He's got, and basically it's on this giant bridge which has no guardrails on it, so anyone who fights him has also, they both have the great danger of falling off, because it's only the width of like basically two horsemen, so it's a narrow freaking bridge. And he seems to think The water, it would wash away his sin, which had been caused by wine, he seemed to think, which is like, that such a plunge would leave him purged and clean. Water, which quenches thirst for wine, he says, the errors which wine causes must erase. He's like, I'm this big brute. I must just have to kill more people and kill people. And then when I get killed myself and fall into the water, that will somehow purge my sin. Um, and this is what he's been doing. And if they're Sarsens, he was content to just basically strip them of their weapons and write their names and hang them on the monument. For Christians, he was like, yeah, I'm going to get your weapons, but also I'm going to enslave you, keep them prisoners, and was his intent to send them to Algiers. And then one day, the mad, deranged Orlando passed that way. So, Orlando, the other thwarted knight in this story, well, one of the other thwarted knights in this story, who it's like women don't want. Rodomonte, now rejected twice. Once by Doralice, who chose the other guy, and one by Isabella, who chose death rather than sacrifice her chastity and her true love, who has been killed, Zerbin. She's been thing versus Orlando, who has had Angelica choose another instead of him. So yes, we're getting the two super basically, like, I think of them as like giant aircraft carriers, that kind of level of death dealing destruction, or maybe whatever the most giant military weapon of today is. This is what these two knights were back then. They're going to about to clash, and we're going to see how that happens. Orlando being, deranged, as the poem says. We'll see how that works. So, ooh boy, that's what's next. Rodomonte and Orlando going head to head. All right, I've been Jay. More videos later.